So let us look at number 1. It says a construction company is setting up signs on 2 miles of road. If the company places a sign every quarter mile, how many signs will it use? So let's identify some of the important information. It said 2 miles. That's something that's important. It says a sign every quarter mile. And the question wants to know what's the number of signs. So basically we have 3 things, 2 important bits of information, and then I know what it wants. So that should tell me some kind of operation. So some people said 1/8, some people said 8 miles, or 8 signs rather. Can anyone give me a multiplication expression or division expression? And you have an expression to share? What? Okay, what's your division expression? Okay, Jose, what's your expression? Okay, Jose gave us a multiplication expression. So 2 miles times 4. Okay. And how many signs are in each mile, Jose? 4. So that would be signs per mile. Okay. And can anyone come up with the division expression? We're still kind of spinning our wheels on that. Adrian? 2 divided by 4 will give us half a road sign. We know that we need more than half a road sign. Okay. Jose, what's yours? 2 divided by 1/4. Or 2 miles divided by 1/4 mile. Now we know that every quarter mile we're going to have to put another sign, right? So if I could draw a model using a number line of 2 miles, I start with 0, I am with 2. What's halfway between 0 and 2? 1. All right, so let's take a look at the first mile. If I know that every 1/4 of a mile I need to put a road sign, what do I need to split the first mile into? 4ths. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 signs. Okay, now what about the second mile? How many signs do I need for the second mile? 4. So I can literally count out an answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 signs. Or I can use math. I know that for every mile, I need 4 signs. So if I have 2 miles, there's 2 times 4. Instead of adding 8 times, 7 times, I could just multiply. I know that 4 times 2 is going to be equal to 8 signs. What happens here? If I have miles divided by miles, what's a mile divided by mile? 1. So it just kind of goes away, right? So the only thing left behind is signs. So now I have 8 signs. Now let's look at our division. We know that we need to keep, change, flip, right? If I keep, change, flip, then I keep the 2. I flip the 1/4, that becomes 4. Doesn't that look familiar? Didn't we already see that? And the product of 2 times 4 is 8. So either way I go, I'm still left with an answer of 8 signs. And let's think about what we did. We took a total amount, and then I figured out how many 4ths go into the 2 miles. Fourths was the size of my unit. So I end up with 4 fourths for the first mile, 4 fourths for the second mile, and I find the total amount of fourths, and that's 8 signs because I get 1 sign per fourth. Let's look at good old George. He bought 4 submarine sandwiches for a birthday party, and each person will eat 2/3 of a sandwich. How many people can George feed? Well, what did we do with the first go around? We looked at the number of what we're dividing. We looked at how many times we needed to split it up, the size group, and then we figured out how many 2/3 or 1/4 are inside that total amount. Can anyone think of a multiplication or division expression to show what my answer might be? Keep getting the same people over and over again. Azil? Can you think of a multiplication or division expression to show what the answer might be? Okay, so he says that 4 times 3 halves will give me my answer. Phoenix, what's a division expression?
4 divided by 30.
Can we see the similarity between these two? These two are equal. Yeah. So again, I can draw a number line. How many subs did we have to share?
4.
Okay, 0, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 subs. Now look at the first sub. What size group do I need? Is each person getting a full sub?
No.
What size group does each person get? 2/3. So for the first sub, what size do I need? How am I partitioning?
3.
Yes, because I need thirds. So the first sub was cut into thirds. The second sub is also going to be cut into. The third sub is going to be cut into. The fourth sub is going to be cut into. Okay, so now I know the size of my group. Now I need to figure out how many groups of that size I can find. How many thirds does each person get? Okay, so I can count. There's 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people. Notice I'm counting by thirds. Actually, I'm counting by 2/3. 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Let's prove that using some math. What's the product of 4 times 3 halves? 12 what? And I know that simplifies to?
6.
Because 12 divided by 2 is 6. Let's do some key change flip. Yeah, that's the action. What is another way to write this? Yes, I keep. Then I change what? And we already know what happens. What does this expression equal? You're saying 4 times 3 halves is different than 4 times 3 halves? So 4 times 3 halves is still going to equal what? 6. If they're equivalent expressions, then you're going to have an equivalent answer. So George can feed 6 people with 4 subs if each person gets 2/3 of a piece.